Get what I'm doing, right? I'm blinking. Lots of times. Maybe 182 times. Hi guys, it's Paul from Crowborough Guitar Tuition, and we're back this week looking at another song, and this time we're looking at Blink 182. Blink 182 or Blink 182? Americans say one, British say another. 182 for me, I think we're right. Blink 182, Stay Together for the Kids, absolutely cracking song off, I believe, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket album, so kind of early 2000s, great stuff. And there's lots of fun things in here. So let's have a look at that riff, that distinctive little riff at the start. So we'll have tab on the screen and bits and bobs as well. So I would start the riff at the 5th fret on the D string, on the A string, sorry, using my second finger. That's the finger I'd want to use for that, because I'm going to be moving down to my first finger in a moment. And so you have the tab on the screen, so you can see how to pick this, alternate picking all the way through. So to get that 7th fret note on the A string, on the D string, all over the place today, I'd use my 4th finger. So starting with my second finger, and I have to keep my second finger relatively, really up on the tip. Should be on its tip anyway, but kind of really upright, because I've got to keep clear of this D string, because this D string rings out a lot during this song. So I've got to make sure that my second finger doesn't mute it in any way. But I want the notes from that second finger at that 5th fret on the A string to ring out as well. So I've got to keep that down and then use my 4th finger to get that 7th fret. Okay, so just use alternate picking for that. Okay. So you might have seen me there go down to that next part of the song. So down to that 4th fret with my first finger on the D string. Okay, so down to that there. So the good thing about using our second finger to start is it means we're not constantly moving around trying to change fingers. We can be consistent, okay? Then we're going to take that first finger and put it at the 4th fret on the A string, and we're going to use the same kind of pattern we've just done before, using our 4th finger and 1st finger to play these notes that are coming up. So what I didn't do there, what I should have done, is when you come to play that 4th fret on the D string, is because you've already got your first finger down at the 4th fret on the A string, I would just back bend that finger. Okay, rather than lift it up and move it across, kind of back bend it, roll it backwards, I suppose, effectively, so that the finger kind of goes into a kind of slightly flatter back bent. That's what I call it, back bending. When I do major bar chords, I always think of this 3rd finger as being back bent. Whether that's helpful language for you, I don't know. But that will mean that you don't have to pick it up and jump over, which can break the flow a bit. So we can roll down to that 4th fret on the D and then roll back up onto our tip on the A string. Then we're going to take that first finger and slide it down to the 2nd fret on the A, where it's going to sit from now on. And for this next section, we've got notes that go near the end of that riff. What we're going to do is we're just going to use a finger per fret for that. So when we've got 2nd fret, we're going to use that 1st finger. We're going to use our 3rd finger at the 4th fret and our 4th finger at the 5th fret, so we can, again, play without having to move around too much. So where we're starting at the that 2nd fret with the 1st finger, 3rd finger for those notes at the 4th fret. And use that 4th finger there for the 5th fret. and then we've got an open A, so what we're going to do for those notes on the D string, we're going to use those fingers we've already been using. First finger at the 2nd fret, 3rd at the 4th, 4th finger at the 5th. And if you can, as you walk up those frets, try and leave your 1st and 3rd fingers behind that 4th finger, because you're going to come back down across them in a minute. So rather than lift them off and kind of have your fingers going up and down the whole time, you can just leave them behind. So when you come off each note to go down to the lower note, you're going to get a lot smoother sound. There won't be any kind of broken notes or anything like that. And this whole riff is supposed to flow through. What you want is nice notes that ring out, okay? And all we do at the end is we go down to that open D. So let's try and do the whole riff slowly. Okay, so that's the riff. It will take a little bit of getting used to, so take it nice and slow. Don't do what I did and learn it slightly wrong, because then you'll struggle, as I probably have in some of those bits there, to actually play it correctly every time. The notes are right, but not always played in the right place. Then we've got the verse section, and we'll start off by fretting what is kind of like a D, but I'm going to use my 3rd finger and my 2nd finger. So I have my 2nd finger where I'd normally have my 1st, because I'm going to want this 1st finger free for some other work in a moment. And all we're doing is we've got open Ds, and then we're just kind of, it's like a pedal tone. These notes, open Ds, have got to ring out, and we've got to let everything ring here. So we go. Okay. Then we put that 1st finger down at the 2nd fret on the A string, so that B note. So we're leaving these 2 fingers in the same place. Just note that the change from that open D to that B note, there's one open D after the last before you hit that B note. Did you hear that? Okay, and that happens between each chord. Then we go, take that 1st finger off, we go down to an A, still keep these 2 fingers in the same place. And then this is where we have to move a little bit. We stay on that A note down on the A string there. But we're gonna, what I do is I bring my thumb round to the back of the neck. I use my 1st finger to cover both the 2nd frets on the G and B strings. And I use my 4th finger at the 5th fret on the B string. So what we've got is, as you'll see on the tab. And then when you take that 4th finger off, you'll find that you've already got your 1st finger in the right place for those next notes at the 2nd fret. So that just repeats round. So it can be a little tricky initially, but if you get your fingers in the right place and use the right fingers, you should be fine. Chorus is relatively easy. It's just a G bar chord for the 1st bar. Albeit with distortion. And then if you see on the tab tells us to play a D over F sharp, but kind of like in the shape of a C bar chord. Now these are a bit tricky, and it's not something I use particularly often. So if you've not done it before, use your 4th finger at the D, at the 5th fret on the A string. Use a 3rd finger at the 4th fret on the D string. We've got our 2nd finger at the 3rd fret on the B string, and our 1st finger is barring across all the strings, so that we've got that F sharp at the top and at the bottom. So it's not something you do like that often, and you might find it a tricky change to get from to there. Have a go, see how you find it. But what you can do, because I think this is double panned or double tracked, the guitars on the track, you can do your bar chord, And then rather than play the whole of this D over F sharp, you could just drop that first finger down to the F sharp, take off that fourth finger, and move your second finger to the fourth fret on the D string. So you'd have second fret on the E, third finger at the fifth fret on the A, and then second finger at the fourth fret on the D. Okay, so you'll probably get a heavier sound anyway doing that. You might have heard just at the end there that very short little bit at the end of that bar. As you reach the end of that D over F sharp, we just take off our first finger. So we're playing an open E and the fifth fret on the A string, and we're going. So we're just taking that finger off, so we've got that open in the fifth fret, and then we're putting it back down, so we've got the second fret and the fifth fret. And then we go back into the main riff. Now the second time through the verse, you can use pretty much the same chord shapes you used before. There'll be some slight variation, but the pattern changes. So we're doing something different this time, and it goes like this. So as you can see, it's a slightly different pattern, but we can use similar shapes to what we did before. So I still fret my D, even though I don't need that third finger, but I've got my second finger at the second fret on the G. So we've just got an open on the D, and then to that G, and it goes, the rhythm, listen to the rhythm. Can you hear how that kind of third D is just a little bit offbeat? Okay, then we just put that first finger down on the B on the A string. I would just pick that first finger up and plonk it down at the second fret on the D string for the next part. Make sure you lift it back off though. You'll see that it's only on for that initial, and then it comes off again, so we can pedal off that D. And then just fret a full A open chord, and you'll be easily able to do the last bit. So there you have it. That is how to play Stay Together for the Kids by Blink-182. It's a great track. You'll have fun playing it, and the riff particularly is a good exercise for you. So do enjoy playing it. Do tune in next week. Do let me know in the comments any songs you'd like to learn. I'd love to hear from you guys. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Hi guys, thanks for watching. For more guitar tips and video lessons, click on the subscribe button down below, and let me know in the comments what songs or video lessons you'd like to see. If you want to keep up with some of our news, you can like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, or you can always check out our website, crowboroughguitartuition.com.